What if your daughter's body started aging 8 times faster than yours? What if at age 1, she looked like a 4-year-old, and by age 5, she looked like a 40-year-old woman? This isn't science fiction. This is a real medical mystery that left the world's top specialists completely baffled. And this is the story of a girl whose body decided to break every rule of time itself. It's the story of Emily, a little girl from a quiet suburb in Maryland, America. But here's the question that will haunt you through this entire documentary. Are you ready to uncover a mystery that medicine still cannot fully explain? Because what we thought was normal was never normal at all. In the late 1990s, Emily was born into a middle-class family. Her parents were overjoyed. At birth, her weight, her height, her tiny fingers, everything was completely perfect. Her big eyes and soft cheeks made everyone say she was the sweetest baby. Life moved forward, exactly as it should. And then, something strange began to happen. Before Emily even turned 2, her parents noticed tiny, unsettling changes. Her hair, which was thick and black at birth, started falling out. Her skin, which was soft and plump, became dry and developed fine lines. Doctors dismissed it at first. They said it was just dehydration or a mild nutritional deficiency. They told her parents to give her more fluids and better food. But nothing worked. And here's where the mystery truly begins. Because over the next few months, those fine lines turned into deep wrinkles. At 2 years old, Emily's growth stopped. Her weight stagnated, dark circles appeared under her eyes, and her nails began to crack and break. Her parents were now convinced that something was deeply wrong. They took her to doctor after doctor. Pediatricians tested her thyroid. The results were normal. Endocrinologists checked her growth hormones. Normal. Dermatologists biopsied her skin. They found nothing unusual. Every test, every scan, every theory was rejected one by one. But then, just before her 4th birthday, something happened that changed everything. Her mother noticed a tiny, strange line on Emily's forehead. Within a week, that line became a crease. Within a month, Emily's forehead...
One day, Emily's mother took her to a park. Emily was playing, and an elderly couple passed by. The old man, completely unaware, looked at Emily and said to her mother, "Your mother looks great. Take good care of her." That casual remark hit Emily's mother like a knife to the chest, because that stranger had mistaken her 5-year-old daughter for her own grandmother. Her mother now understood everything. Something terrifying was happening to Emily, but at that moment, no one knew what it was. And you might think that with modern medicine, they would have found an answer quickly, but they didn't, because every medical test kept coming back normal, while Emily's body kept turning more and more abnormal. Over the next 2 years, Emily's condition deteriorated further. Her skin sagged, her joints began to ache, and arthritis appeared in her knees. She could no longer run. Even walking became a struggle. But the most heartbreaking part? Her mind was still that of a child. She wanted to play with dolls. She wanted to go to school. She wanted to run with her friends. But her body refused to let her do any of it. One day, her mother asked her, "What do you want?" And Emily looked up with her tired, aged eyes and said, "I just want one day where I can go to school, and my friends aren't afraid of me." That sentence echoed in the minds of every doctor working on her case, because they had no answer, and finding that answer became their mission. Then, something shifted the entire case in a new direction. Doctors began an in-depth genetic analysis of Emily's DNA. The testing took weeks, and when the results finally came in, they showed no clear mutation. Her chromosomes were structurally normal. But this time, the doctors didn't give up. They changed their strategy. They focused on the nucleus of Emily's cells, specifically on a protein called lamin.
And that is where they found the first real clue. The level of lamin in her cells was dangerously low. This protein is the structural glue that keeps the nucleus of a cell strong. When lamin is low, the cell loses its ability to repair itself. And when the cell cannot repair itself, aging accelerates at a terrifying speed. But was this the full truth? Was this protein deficiency the only reason Emily's body was aging so fast? Or was there a deeper secret hiding beneath the surface?
The diagnosis now became clear. Emily was suffering from a rare genetic disorder called Hutchinson-Gilford Progeria Syndrome. This is a condition where a child's body ages 8 times faster than normal. Fewer than 400 cases have ever been recorded worldwide. But the diagnosis was not the end. It was just the beginning of a harder question. Was there any treatment? And could Emily, who was now 11 years old but looked like an 80-year-old woman, ever experience a normal childhood? Doctors started an experimental combination therapy. A drug called a farnesyltransferase inhibitor was used, which helps stabilize the cell membrane. Additionally, supportive medications were given to slow down heart disease and osteoporosis. But this was not a miracle. It was merely a desperate attempt to buy time. One day, Emily was sitting in her wheelchair, turning the pages of a large book with her fragile fingers. She looked at her mother and said, "I'm a girl. I want to play with dolls." Her mother was silent, because the dolls made for her age were too small for her hands. Her father bought her a larger doll, but Emily couldn't even hug it, because her joints were so painful that she couldn't lift her arms. That scene remains unforgettable to everyone who witnessed it. Another critical part of her treatment was psychological support. Therapists helped Emily accept her condition. Her mother gave her a diary where she could write down her feelings. Emily wrote one sentence in it: "I am aging fast, but I am not growing up." That single line made her mother cry. But it also made every doctor who read her case history stop and pause. Because Emily's body was growing older, but her mind, her thoughts, her desires, they all remained that of a child. This gap made her suffering even deeper. Time moved on. Emily celebrated her 13th birthday. Her body now looked like that of an 84-year-old woman. Her memory was still sharp, still childlike, but her body was exhausted, like that of an old person. She asked her mother one day, "Can I do something that will make people remember me?" Her mother turned her into an artist. Despite her weakening fingers, Emily began to draw on paper. Her drawings featured a girl with a face half child and half elderly, and she ended every single drawing with a smiling face. She looked much older than her actual age, but her innocence remained untouched. Doctors continued physical therapy alongside her medications to prevent her joint pain from worsening. And then, one day, a sharp pain struck her chest. Tests revealed that her coronary arteries had become severely hardened. This is the most common and most lethal complication of progeria. The doctor said, "We can't stop it. We can only make her as comfortable as possible." Her parents took her to that same park, the one she loved so much. They placed her in her wheelchair. Emily looked up at the sky and said, "The clouds are so beautiful today." That was her last sentence. It echoed in her mother's ears forever. A few days later, Emily passed away in her mother's arms. She was 14 years old. Her body was that of a 100-year-old woman, and her final words were, "I'm sorry, Mom. I grew old too fast." Her parents' hearts were shattered. But Emily's story did not end there. Her parents donated her body to medical research. Her cells are still being studied today to find a permanent cure for this rare disease. Doctors later noted that Emily's body aged rapidly, but her mind and her innocence remained that of a child until the very end. Her paintings are now displayed at medical conferences to raise global awareness about this condition. And when doctors read the final page of her diary, they found a sentence that read, "I lived my entire life in just a few years, but I lived every single one of those years completely."
That sentence forces anyone who reads it to pause and reflect. Does the speed of time really matter? Or does the depth of each moment matter more?
Emily's story teaches us something profound. Age is just a number, but time is precious. In her short life, she taught the world that every moment has meaning, no matter how small. Her aging speed baffled the doctors, broke her parents' hearts, but she left behind a legacy that will never grow old. Her memory still inspires researchers working on childhood aging diseases. And every time someone reads her diary, they realize a 14-year-old girl managed to preserve her innocence, even when her body had aged 100 years. This is a story of time, love, and science, and it is a story that does not end. But here is the question we are left with. Will we ever find a cure for this disease? Or will Emily's accelerated aging remain a mystery that medicine can never fully unravel?